Welcome back to The Letter of the Law Part 2. Now let's first address the elephant in the room. It was a bit dingy in here last time, so let's give that a quick fix. That's better. So to give a quick recap as to where we last left our triune of characters, Ansell Nickerson was in prison with being accused of murder on the high seas. Thomas Hutchinson was the sitting governor of Massachusetts, and Jonathan Warner was summoned by Thomas Hutchinson to attend a court for the trial of Ansell Nickerson. At this court date, scheduled for December 16th, with Jonathan Warner present, they deemed that it was necessary and there was apt evidence for a second official trial to take place where Ansell Nickerson was on trial, and this ideally definitive event was scheduled for the 2nd of June. So Nickerson spends several months in prison in Boston, and once the court date comes, his defense presents the case that while there is a conflicting story on his part, it is all circumstantial evidence, and there is not enough to clearly convict the man of murder on the high seas. Well, this court decided no. So the story that doesn't entirely add up, as the only evidence for the prosecution, Ansell Nickerson is set free. But that's not good enough for the governor of Massachusetts. That is not good enough for Thomas Hutchinson. He imprisons Nickerson a second time for murder and theft on the high seas. So as my last comment of the last video said, Nickerson would have been up a creek without a paddle if he didn't have a good lawyer. And fortunately for him, Hutchinson made the right enemies. Because not only did Nickerson get a lawyer, not only did he get a good trial lawyer, he got what was possibly the most famous trial lawyer of his time. This man, coming in off of his win of the undefendable, the 1717 Boston Massacre, the future second president of the United States, none other than John Adams. So now, with John Adams on board defending Ansell Nickerson, there's really only one question left. When's the trial going to be? And this trial, set for the 28th of July, 1773. How is he going to defend him? Well, turns out, the exact same way Nickerson was defended the first time. In court, Adams turned to the jury, and he turned to Nickerson, and he said, can a man's conflicting story be used against him, and can it be enough judgment to convict a man of murder and sentence him to death? It's also entirely possible that he mentioned Nickerson, either pointed to him or something along those lines, and pointed out that could a single man overpower 4 other fully grown men and still maintain the strength to properly steal and hide the cargo so that it could evade thorough investigation of the ship upon its recovery from the outside world? To give you an idea of the strange conclusion to this strange case, I'm going to read you an excerpt from a letter written by John Adams to his son, John Quincy Adams. And I quote, "The man was acquitted, but I never knew upon what principle nor by what majority of votes." So when Nickerson walks free, does he suddenly turn to Adams and say, "Oh, by the way, I did do it, thanks for getting me off of those charges"? No, he does not. And to this day, no one has any idea, not even John Adams, whether Ansell Nickerson was innocent or guilty of the charges put before him. And he also, secondly, Nickerson never even paid Adams. He was owed £5, John Adams was, for his defense of Ansell Nickerson, and he never paid. And according to Adams' diary, he thought, no, it wasn't really about the money. It wasn't even about knowing for certain. It was about equal treatment under the law. But to his dying day, Thomas Hutchinson was convinced that Ansell Nickerson was guilty of murder on the high seas.